Hello, my beloveds. So today I'm going to drop in with a little bit of story and reflection that has been coming through from my journey into astrology. And I'm going to preface this by saying, I really know nothing about astrology. I'm just starting to dip my toe a little deeper into the cosmic pond. And I'm loving it. And yet there are probably many of you listening that know way more than I do. So I just speak that into the space first. I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm just offering some ideas of how I see this reflecting in my life through the lens of how to support you as we move through challenging times. So I was looking at Saturn. Saturn rules my chart. I have a Capricorn sun and moon, and I'm Cancer rising. It's a really beautiful combination. I have very much enjoyed living it. And what I was looking at was my Saturn return and then my Saturn opposition. And my Saturn return was about deep commitment, realizing what that meant, and then also walking away from it. And when I looked at the dates for that, I left one of the most important relationships in my life. And I did it in devotion to myself. Even though I didn't understand that at the time, even though I loved him dearly, oh my goodness, I still love him today in a different way though, right? And what I saw in that, right, was that even though that moment was hard and that it sent me on a whole new trajectory. We were living in New Zealand together and we separated, and I moved over to Australia, stayed with friends, explored and adventured for 6 months, really trying to decide who I was and where I was going. I had been traveling for 5 years. And I had this urge to put down roots and to create a new phase of my life, although I didn't really see it as that at that time, right? This is a reflection. And so off I went, breaking both our hearts, and moved on. And so seeing that that was my Saturn return, I didn't have any awareness that that was happening, but that was written in the stars. And now the specific details of how that happened for me obviously could have unfolded many, many different ways. But this is the way they chose to unfold for me so that I could really live into that life lesson, that astrological opportunity. And then my Saturn opposition. This happened over 2 years. And those were the exact 2 years that I was in deep, deep depression. I had had my children. They were very young. My daughter was a year old at this time. And my marriage was falling apart. We were grasping at threads, trying to keep it together. I was deep in trauma that had been activated by the birth of my children. And I also had been deeply, deeply activated by portaling souls through my womb, right? Through our sacred womb space. This is how souls arrive on this planet. And the sacredness and just the majesty and miracle of that, we don't hold it on our planet the way that we ought to, right? So here I was, having gone through or being inside of the Saturn opposition, going through a major, major spiritual shift and falling through, walking into deep, deep depression and a dark night of my soul. And it was those 2 years. And it was in those years, those days, those hours, those moments that I changed and that I claimed something else for my life, and I made decisions, and I owned me, and I went even deeper on my journey and got support in such a deep way by some incredible people that I will be always grateful for my entire life, for the support they gave me, for the wisdom they shared, for the help they gave. And I'm speaking of both personal and professional humans that held me during that time. And when I think about that, I had my children late in life. I was bumping up against the edge of having them where I might not have been able to have them. My son at almost 41, and then my daughter when I was 42. And I'm so grateful that my body was still able to hold them and to grow them and to birth them. Even though, that was considered a very geriatric pregnancy. They were intended to come through me, right? And walk this life with me. And so that divinely happened. But when I look at that and I think about those years and the moments that led up to them, I could have quite easily not met my husband. And then I would have gone on a different path, right? That would have involved not having those children. And what my Saturn opposition was about letting go of the identities that I had been clinging to for survival, and letting go of, and letting go isn't the right word. It's investigating. Right? It's investigating the identities that kept me hostage, investigating the conditioning and the program that did not allow me to deepen into the truth of who I was, right? The things that were protecting me. And I believe that had I walked that path of no children during my Saturn opposition, I would have fallen into depression and walked that particular path, most likely because I was sad that I wasn't able to have children, right, in this life. And so it would have had a very different flavor. And yet, standing on this side of the journey, looking back, I believe that I still would have walked through that opposition in a particular way that would have had a similar feel. Right? Anything that I had believed about myself would still have had to go through this incredible transformation in order for me to continue life after the sadness. And yet it would still have been supportive and written in the stars and taken me to where I wanted to be. It just would have had different circumstances. So now how does all of this story pertain to you? It's an invitation, right, to look at what are you portaling through right now? Oh my goodness. There's so much that is in your soul book, that is in your soul agenda, right? Your life plan that you came here to live into, the life lessons that you wanted to learn, the people that you wanted to touch in this lifetime, the people that you wanted to know and walk in a living body with. This is all an opportunity for you to really sink in. What are you here to do? Why are you here in these times? Like, these are wild times. You did not accidentally just arrive here. This is orchestrated by your soul, by the cosmos, by creation, by consciousness, by divine intelligence, right? It's all woven together so beautifully, and we are on this experiment, walking moment by moment, step by step, action by action. So how can you, even if astrology is not your thing, right? It's like, where can you deepen? Where can you explore? Where can you investigate? What is keeping you contained? What is stopping you from living fully alive? What is stopping you from doing the work you came here to do? What is stopping you from leaving the relationship that is not supporting your soul growth any longer? You've done all the work. You have combed it. You have harvested. And now you're just there Maybe because you're scared. You don't know what to do next. You don't know how to leave. And not just romantic relationships, right? Friendships at the moment. Unhealthy family dynamics. Unhealthy parenting dynamics. What needs to change? Unhealthy work dynamics, right? What are those things? What are you going to commit to? It's now 2026. What's this year going to bring for you? What are the stars lining up so that you can have a journey, right? I did a podcast episode earlier about in order to have a journey, you have to be willing to take a journey. And it's spicy and it's fiery and it's also delicious and yummy and nurturing and awe-inspiring and gratitude-inspiring. It's life-changing when you take hold of the reins and you say, yes, this is my journey. This is my journey and no one else is going to decide for me. I am going to decide for me. I am going to look at the obstacles and challenges in my life and I am going to recognize that they are opportunities. And what am I going to do with that opportunity? Because we can all feel the energy shifting, right? As we came out of 2025 and we settled into January, and then the second half of January, it's like whoosh, we can feel it. What are you going to do with that? It's for you. It's for you. These are the times of change. These are the times of big decisions. These are the times of bold actions and heartfelt decisions, right? Heartfelt choices. Because you matter. And this journey matters. This life matters. This planet matters. All the beings on this planet matter. And it's up to us, with the privilege that we have, with the ability to care for each other, with the ability to care for the planet, with the ability to create consciousness that is different, right? These are all things that we are capable of when we choose. So my loves, maybe take a trip through your star chart, right? There's so much goodness in there. Maybe take a trip through human design. Maybe come and have your soul record read with me. I have workshops in town. You can also book individual ones. Those are always on my website, and they are wildly eye-opening. I had mine read about 10 years ago, and it changed me. I actually had it read in my Saturn return, not my Saturn return, my Saturn opposition portal. Now I'm putting those dots together right here live in person with you. Because I was searching and seeking, right? I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? What is happening to me? And I wanted answers. I wanted information. And that Akashic Soul record gave me some pretty eye-opening answers that helped me. They validated me is what they did. That's what I love about those reports. They're so validating. And then from there, right, we feel held and supported, and we can say, oh, look at me. I am living in my soul purpose. Look at these things that make sense of who I am. And then it gives you this confidence to step into that more boldly, right? So whatever it is for you, do the thing today. As we sign off from this podcast, go do the thing. What's that program you wanted to sign up for, that person you wanted to call, that decision you needed to make and yet have been putting off because you feel like you don't know what to do and you're waffling? There are no bad decisions. There are no wrong decisions. All there is what you choose and then what you do with that choice. You are always on the path. You are never not on your path. And every decision, even if it feels like you are totally getting it wrong, it will take you somewhere. And that quote unquote wrong decision is better than no decision. So do it, my loves. And don't forget about the journey. This is the place where we take all of this, right? All of these teachings, these things I talk about in this podcast. And this is where we bring them into our reality. This is where we do the work that is needed to make those spicy, bold choices. And we make them together. We gather in Telegram. We learn together, and we grow together, and we change our lives together. So if you've been thinking about it, come on in. There's a link in the show notes. Reach out with any questions. And as always, I love you, love you, love you so much. Thank you for being on this journey, and thank you for listening. Mwah.